That's strange.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll call this meeting of the Brown County Commission to order. We'll start with the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. First, we've got a joint meeting with the Frederick City Council. We've got Mr. Campbell, Schlosser, and Millard with us. Thank you for joining us again, guys. Appreciate you taking the time and coming up. Should we do the county side first? Does everybody have? It would be second reading, possible adoption of ordinance 133. Yes. Is there any questions on that or anyone to speak on behalf of that? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second, please.
Moved by Commissioner Fikert, seconded by Commissioner Weiss. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
This will be reflected as a roll call.
Sounds great, thank you. Motion carries on the county side. I'll hand it over to you guys.
On the town side, entertain a motion to approve the revision of Brown County ordinance rezoning the said property from ag preservation to highway commercial district. Their motion. For a second. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Progress, upward and onward.
How are the roads coming down?
They weren't too bad.
Yeah. Been worse.
Yeah.
Winter in South Dakota.
3 inches. Not ending.
Yeah.
3 inches of feathers. Yeah.
Only been here since Christmas, come on.
I think the traffic just blew the snow out.
Yeah. We'll take care, guys.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Troy, you got a card?
We got a few minutes. Max, you got a couple things you want to take care of?
The minutes were from the February 19th joint Frederick City County meeting and the February 19th general county meeting.
Move.
Moved by Weiss,
Second.
seconded by Fikert. Any corrections or additions to those minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims.
Yeah, have a good one. Second.
Moved by Weiss, second by Fikert. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Did everybody get a chance to look at the addition to the HR report?
I heard it, so I'll move it.
Moved by Weiss,
Second.
seconded by Fikert. Any discussion or?
Not happy.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
The South Dakota DENR grant reimbursement request number 3. This is for cell 3 at the landfill.
So moved.
Moved by Fikert, seconded by Weiss. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Abatement.
Move.
That was the northern one, right? Northern state, just the one.
Second.
Moved by Weiss, seconded by Fikert. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Plats that were for Roar, Wood, Somke, and Yeski.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Fikert, seconded by Weiss. Any questions on those plats?
Look them over.
Sounds good. There wasn't too extensive conversation at the committee. Pretty standard.
Straightforward.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Authorized advertising, ordinance 134, that's a Campbell rezone, and ordinance 135, a Remetz rezone.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Fikert, seconded by Weiss. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Leases, North Plains Baptist Church, Hine, and Woodwater.
And that Friday one, I did check, and there's no races at the clubhouse when they're renting it for, I think we've run into that one time.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion to approve
So
leases.
moved.
Moved by
Second.
Fikert, seconded by Weiss. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And fair contracts.
Move.
Moved by Weiss,
Second.
seconded by Fikert. Questions on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
That's all I have.
All right, let's go to our 8:50, open and review the hay cutting proposals for Richmond Youth Camp. Probably be a lot more bids for it if we didn't have the wet winter. But now that maybe the drought's over.
Be like Bismarck was here a couple of years ago where they had 4 foot of snow and they dried out all summer.
Just last.
I noticed it says I give them that sealed bids will be open for consideration at 8:50 a.m. on February 26, 2019 in the Brown County Commission chambers. for hay cutting on county land, approximately 21 acres at Raccoon Youth Camp, south of section 24, 12465, with no minimum amount per acre. 2 additional one-year options, 2020 and 2021, may be exercised provided the Brown County Commission is notified in writing by November 1 of the year preceding the options. Looks like 2 bids.
How much did that go for last time? Do you remember?
I can't remember. Let's find out. Okay, this is from Cheryl Erickson, and it's $30 per acre. And this is from Leslie Crowling. Okay, at $605 per year for a 3-year, okay, we'll have to, do you have a calculator?
Yep.
Okay,
23 acres?
21, 605 divided by the 21.
I thought cutting edges were boring. They are.
28.81. $28.81.
Okay, and if I take the 21 times the 30, that's 640.
Yep.
What was the total on West Rolling? 60 what?
605.
605. 640.
So we've got
And the
Eric.
total on Erickson would be the 640.
Man, am I overpaying.
Should put a bid in.
Yeah.
All right, we've got 2 bids. One for the 605, one for 630.
40.
40, sorry.
So do we award the bid now, or?
Yes.
I would move that we give the bid to the high,
Oh, it is 630, I'm sorry.
to the high bidder.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion from Piker, second from Weiss to go ahead and award that to the high bidder, 630 Cheryl Erickson. Is there any discussion, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carries. Let's go to Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, right-of-way bridge, 425. Good morning.
Morning.
That has to be a typo, 2 minutes for dirt on there?
This one's up to the commission on how long it's
Yeah,
gonna
right.
take.
53.
Show them what you got, Dirk.
This is just the right-of-way certificate that goes with the Hall Pit Bridge, saying that we got the right-of-way, which you get from Trends or Jeff Hall, basically. If we could sign it and stamp it right now, I'll take it back with me so I can forward it to the DOT right now, because we're trying to make the April letting on that. So it won't go in March, but in April, they'll bid the Hall Bridge, so.
Moved from Weiss, seconded by Piker. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carries.
Make it?
Aye. Actually,
I'm glad to go.
it's actually gonna happen.
Next, we're going to roll
Yeah, it's hard to
into
believe.
opening and reviewing of some bids here.
I think that has everything you need, you can write down. We'll probably won't go through it slow enough to write everything down, but you'll read it. Only 3 of you today, I really should have brought something up big, I only need 2 votes, you know. You still need 2.
Something big like cake. You could brought something to bribe us.
Ah, very high.
Bye.
So your numbers on the bottom of this, that's the
Yeah,
current?
we just jotted them in, that's what last year's bid would have been.
Okay.
So first one, we open and review road oil and hot mix.
Still brought a pair of glasses with me.
Well, he's doing that. Sealed bids will be received in the chambers of Brown County Board of Commissioners, Courthouse Annex, Aberdeen. till the hour of 8:55 a.m., February 26th. At this time and place, all bids will be publicly opened, read, and considered for producing, furnishing, and delivery of road oil to Brown County System of Roads, FOB, Brown County. Looks like there's one bid. All right?
Sure.
One very,
Yeah.
one very good bid, hopefully.
We got one bid from Jebro. And for item A, cutback asphalt MC70, $797.61 a ton.
On which one was that?
That's the MC70 on the top.
797.
61 cents.
Okay.
Item B, cutback road oil MC3000, $627.61. And item 3, emulsified asphalt CSS 1H is $483.85. And my understanding is we should be thankful we're opening these today and not in a month, because it would be worse with the direction of the asphalt, so pretty over. Yeah, it is. And I couldn't tell you, I'll look and see if we're back to pre-2008 levels or whatever it was before it went up last time, but,
2015 was more expensive than this year, but this year asphalt, I'm with Jebro, Stuzik with Jebro, and asphalt is trending up and more expensive, going to be more expensive, looks like, until the paving season at least, and then maybe get worse from there, so.
Well, thanks for the bright spot.
Yeah.
Is that 241 gallons per ton?
Depends on the product.
3,000.
Yeah, the emulsion is 235 gallons to the ton. MC70 is 254, and the MC3000 is 240 gallons to the ton.
So basically that price increase adds about $950 per mile to our chip seal cost, just to give you an idea. What did I just say? $950. Another $1,000. Yeah, that's the one.
You want him to refer it, or?
Oh, I would recommend that we award the road oil bid.
So moved.
Moved by Spiker, seconded by Weed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Just add that it's the last
Next,
page.
we will open and review the gravel bid.
We gotta do
Okay.
asphalt yet?
Yes. Notice of asphalt concrete plant mix supplier sealed bids will be received in chambers of the Brown County Board of Commissioners, Courthouse Annex, Saturday, South Dakota, until the hour of 8:55 a.m. February 26th. At this time and place, all bids will be publicly open, read, and considered for producing, furnishing all materials and delivery of asphalt concrete plant mix materials for road maintenance and construction of Brown County System of Roads, FOB, Brown County, South Dakota. Then there's contract, and then it quotes the state laws, and bid shall include all applicable taxes and fees for materials furnished and or installed by the contractor, and all applicable taxes and fees for materials supplied by the county. Brown County is exempt from all federal excise and state sales tax. Okay, looks like there are two bids.
Okay, the first bid comes from Jensen. For the Class D Type 2 half-inch is $59.50. And same price for 3/4. They also have a cold mix price of half-inch. The Type 2 is $115 even, and the 3/4 inch Class D is $110.
You can take the envelope.
Yeah, I mean, I won't lose them.
Yeah. This-
Everybody keeping up okay?
Doing good?
All right.
Tough, we're doing her.
The second one is from Moon Transportation. They got Class D Type 2 is $59.85. Same price for both of them. And they didn't put anything in there for coal mix. I'd recommend that we award both suppliers all the products based on availability and geographic location, which I don't know if you guys know, but Jensen's bought Aberdeen Asphalt. I believe their plant's going to be in town. So, we'll have to see what that does for us.
So moved. I'll second.
Moved by Weiss, seconded by Schweikert. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Well, I thought you had to.
Sorry, I took that.
That's all right. Okay, here's the liens. Now it's yeah.
Thank you.
No, we're a little vague.
I'll let you keep track.
Well, we'll get, I mean, you guys can jot in what you want. We'll, get a bid tab to you here next week. Because I'm already gonna tell you, we're gonna defer the gravel and the equipment till next week, but let's open them up and just kind of get a feel for how much inflation there is.
Okay, notice to road contractors and machinery dealers, sealed bids will be received in the chambers of the Brown County Board of Commissioners Courthouse Annex until the hour of 9:05. Is this the right one?
Are we gravel or, which one's next, gravel or equipment?
Gravel bid.
Gravel.
Yep.
And that was till 9. So we're good.
Okay, I have them
Oh,
different on the legal. They were reversed on the legal.
either way.
Either way?
Late ones come in, we'll take them till they're advertised.
Well, so you got the gravel at 9
Right.
and the equipment at 9:05. Just like the,
Oh, I'm sorry. Got the wrong envelope. Time to retire. Okay. Notice to gravel production, contractors and suppliers, sealed bids will be received in the chambers of the Brown County Board of Commissioners at Courthouse Annex until the hour of 9 a.m., February 26th. At said time and place, all bids will be publicly opened, read, and considered for furnishing and delivery of 1 year's supply of road construction and maintenance gravel materials. No deposit or bid bond will be required. Performance bond will be, and bid shall include all applicable taxes and fees for materials furnished and/or installed by the contractor and all applicable taxes and fees for materials supplied by the county. Brown County is exempt from all federal excise tax and state sales tax. Okay.
you can see on the back there, on the bottom, we have the gravel prices. We didn't write them in for each pit, but they range from $3.50 to $11, just to give you an idea. And the 350 number is a bit of an outlier. The next lowest number is probably like 6 or 7. So.
Okay, this is,
Everest. This is LG Everest. And it's probably just going to be a number on pea gravel. So if you go to your second page on your, or excuse me, pea size gravel. Yeah, second page under LG Everest, $5. And that's FOB at Summit. We go over there and get that. This is Hanlon's. bid gravel up on top of the hill, we say, but 9 miles east of 37 up there at the pit. He's got for 3/4 inch, $850, and for 1 inch, $690.
Which line?
These would be Hanlon's.
And that's the Water pit,
Water
right?
Water pit, yep.
Okay, 1080 and...
1080 is actually, you haven't read that one yet. 850
For 3/4 inch,
for that one,
690 for one.
690 for that one.
Okay.
And then 1080 at the Burton stockpile site. And then they also bid pea gravel in Burton, at the Burton stockpile site at $19.
You know, it's like, county's gotta pick that up too, or do they know that?
No, we'll pick that up. Actually, that's sort of a one-time, he ended up with some of that, and so he put a price in there for us. We'll use that on either 21 or 23 down there, one of the two that we're sealing. Binky. This is from Glenn Binky Pit, which is 8 miles east of Britain. He's got $4 a ton, $3.50 if we load it, but we'll put $4 a ton in there.
For 3/4 inch?
Yep. He's got some other stuff in here with clay and some oversized rock and stuff. I'll get it all organized and put it in the bid tab. This is Jensen's. I probably don't even have slots for them on here. That's fine, go ahead and scribble it in, but, $850 at a pit north of Bowdle for 3/4 and 1 inch is $750. And at a pit north of Ortley, they've got P-Rock for $550 on the back page. Finally. Shoot, this is nothing.
And on to the fun stuff.
Last one's from Jacobs. Got 890. These are all 1 inch, so 890 at the Ryberg pit, $7 at the S Ranch, $8.15 at the Gunther pit, $8.15 at the J pit, $6.60 at the Anliker pit. Anliker. It's in a nice area. $6.60 at the Flacco pit. Are those the two up by the colony?
Back forks. Up on the side hill.
And $11 at the Burden stockpile site.
Oh.
All right, that's it for gravel.
Okay. Entertain a motion to defer the...
So moved.
Accept or defer dirt?
I prefer to defer them to next week so we can get a little chart up.
Okay. Motion by Piker, seconded by Weiss. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Then we go on to open and review rental of equipment bids. Oh God, you're good.
Notice to road contractors and machinery dealers, sealed bids will be received in the chambers of the Brown County Board of Commissioners, Courthouse Annex, until the hour of 9:05 a.m., February 26th. At said time and place, all bids will be opened, read, and considered for furnishing full operation rental services of gravel trucks and road machinery for construction and maintenance repairs on Brown County projects for year 2019. Successful bidders will be working along with the Brown County Highway Department forces, Brown County Landfill forces, and the Brown County Fairground forces to complete the projects. Contract for rental equipment shall be firm and will be in effect for a period of 1 year, April 1, 19, March 31, 2020.
All right, this is from Leans. Let's see, how did we get it? Okay, Leans has two lists. They got their paving spot and stuff in one spot and some other equipment, but they've got a bulldozer at 215, 320 cat excavators at 170, Komatsu loader at 205, trucks 185 for a train, 100 for asphalt dump truck, 135 for rollers. You know, I mean, kind of get an idea of the, and everybody else here, I'll get everybody a bid tab when we get them all figured out here. And then the paving equipment, they've got 280 for their paver, 135 for the roller, 135 for oil distributor. Similarly with patching equipment, skid steers at 155 and rollers at 100, cat cart at 130 and a boom for 75. So they include everything, so we can just hire them to go patch or pave.
So that's with labor.
Yep, everything with the equipment, with the exception of maybe the crusher that we rent, is full operation. We don't spend enough on full operation monthly rentals that it goes over the bid limit. So like we're going to rent something we're going to run ourselves, we're probably going to rent that from RDO or Butler or one of those guys, where this is where they're bringing their equipment, their people, and they're going to perform an activity for us. So. Which is, Rachel, remember the questions the local contractor was having about our thing? That's how, I mean, this is how we did the project out at Richmond.
You want to participate, have it in here.
Yeah. Next one's from Jensen's. Awesome. Any chance I get this stuff back to the office without misplacing it? Similarly, they got dozers at 285, an excavator 165, various loaders ranging from 105 up to 225 an hour, compaction equipment, different rollers at 100 to 145, trains are 175, and then asphalt trucks are 105. Paving equipment, we got a paver and they got a big paver and a little paver for 225 and 175, and then they bundled their patching equipment, which we can do it either way. So they're at $550 an hour for their patching equipment. And that's it.
All right, any questions for Dirk?
Or that's it for that one.
Okay. Phew.
You're 2 minutes is up.
I know, I'm going, I mean,
Dude.
Jacob.
B&B.
Oh, okay. The handwriting was too good for it to have been Bob, I knew that. This is from B&B, and they've got all the blanks filled as well. Different size dozers ranging from 150 to 185, excavators from 145 an hour to 250. Loaders 125 or 150, some scrapers, a couple blades, compaction equipment, 175 for for a train hauling. And instead of asphalt trucks, they have off-road haul trucks with 150 and 200. And then some other things, sheet piling hammer, some other different pieces that are unique to them, I guess.
The list.
Yep. Is that Jacob's stuff?
That's done.
Did I get back in there?
Yeah, that's done.
Okay, and then here's Jacob's. Bulldozers from 163 to 224. Excavators from 122 to 200. Just going to kind of depend on what we're using. Skidders, other loaders, 110 to 170. 4 different size scrapers, blades, water trucks, rollers, and then $150 with for a train, and lowboy rental. We're getting all kinds of stuff this year. This is good. Okay. More?
Two more.
Webster scale.
Why is it $40 additional for winter snow yard? Do you think it'd be quieter then, or is it when it snows everybody needs them on the first page?
You should have spent the day at the highway department yesterday and you would know the answer to that
Okay.
question.
Is
It's so
Is
stinking
that
hard
$40
on.
a day or $40 an hour?
I would assume it's an hour, isn't it?
It doesn't say, it just says no,
Yeah,
$40
that's why I
additional
had to
for
tease
winter
about it a
snow
little bit.
work versus
Yeah,
on
it
the
just
snow.
says $40 additional for winter snow.
Right, so like,
That's from last year too, it's not.
Normally that's on a dozer where you got tracks running in snow. Snow eats them up just like sugar sand.
Hard,
And then it costs you another
dry.
$25,000 to $50,000 for a set of tracks.
Gotcha.
Eats the grease right out of them.
That was asked a question yesterday. I was
Thank you.
going to text John with that. Yeah. I can answer it. Look out the window.
yeah. No, yesterday was a challenging day
You
for us.
spoiled some people.
And the weather spoiled us all is what's happened.
Uh-huh.
Webster scale, again, dozers ranging in 125 to 250, the excavators from 140 to 210, loaders in various sizes from 140 to 160 an hour, scrapers, compaction equipment, semis at 150, 160 range for trains. So everybody seems to be close. It's basically, you know, it ends up happening whatever's available. And they do have a bid in here for $5.65 a ton for recycling crushing. I'll have to look into that and see if it's way cheaper than ours, but it's one of the activities that we do to keep us occupied in the winter. So, and Hanlon's, that's it. They've got bulldozers, excavators, loaders, and trucks, trains at 140 an hour. And that's it, that's from Hamlin's. I would recommend that we defer till next week so I can get that organized and bring it in here.
So moved.
And, I'm sorry, I gotta add one more. Jacobs has, per ton crushing in here at 351 for 3/4 inch and 341 for 1 inch.
That's per hour.
That's per ton.
Okay.
So like it goes in a bit.
340.
Yeah. So what happens, the contractor goes in and crushes a bunch, and then you argue with him for a couple of weeks over how much he actually crushed, and then you come to a conclusion and,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
But I would like to defer the gravel and the equipment to next week.
Okay, we've
bring
got a
that bid
motion
back
and a
and
second
we'll
on the
do it.
floor. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Motion carries.
I had Fiker Police written down. for
That's
this.
fine.
Okay.
We're near where 97 was, Bob.
No,
Yeah.
bad memory.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do you want anything?
No, is that what those are?
These are just my envelopes.
Okay.
Just the bids this morning, Dirk? Everything else is peachy?
It's awesome.
Good.
Yeah. Everything's okay. We got 4 snow blowers out running, and it's just that, I was really surprised because Sunday, it wind blew, but it was kind of a decent day, if you weren't out in the country, but yeah, we had a pretty rugged day of trying to get everything open yesterday, but I think we're over the hump for now, then we got another 2 inches of snow in some places this morning again, so.
It always surprises you how it drifts. It's like, really?
Yeah.
This way?
I know.
Just a couple degrees difference
Yeah,
in the way the wind
comes
goes
up 25, 30 miles an hour again now,
Yeah,
with that fluff that's out there.
I know. Snow globe snow.
It's winter.
Yeah, it's winter, we'll just keep hacking away at it.
Sounds
Other
good.
than the
Thank
guys
you.
calling me and wondering about load limits already, but as soon as we get the snow out of the way and I can see, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
We're ready for them.
One word in the back of your mind, flood.
Next on the agenda, we got Dan Zoombaum, entrance of courthouse building discussion. Dan, are you with us? All right, is anybody aware of what Dan was going to talk about?
Yep.
Dan, no problem. Dan, very fast.
Morning.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, Dan?
You missing somebody?
A couple somebodies, but we're good, we got a quorum.
Okay, I just, last week, it happens to me all the time. When I use the courthouse, I use court, the clerk of courts, and then the sheriff. Okay, it's not like, it used to be you go to the clerk of courts, you walk through the halls, boom, you're at the sheriff's. Now you go back outside, around the building, to the sheriff. And then last week what happened is the clerk of courts forgot to sign the form, so then I had to go back through security upstairs, back all the way around. So 2 trips to do one little thing. Now, I understand the security aspect of it, but what happened with those doors down the hallways that are the shortcuts? Because I can get into here any place that the door down the hall can get to. But you close those doors off for
Sure.
employees only, of which honestly no employees use those because your employees department is bad.
Our emergency management department recommended that we have limited access to, just in case there was an active
Okay.
shooter event. That's kind of why we made the recommendation and the commission followed it.
Okay, and, I wasn't here for any of this stuff when you
Sure.
decided stuff,
Yep.
but what did they base their recommendations off of? Oh, it makes common sense?
That's what, in their feeling, yeah. They, with the handicap accessible on these 2 sides, those were the 2 that they had recommended keeping after, originally it was just 1 entrance, and then after some discussion, we had decided to leave the second one open, and they had said as much as we can limit it, that's what they preferred.
Because I know it feels like the world is a way more unsafe place than it used to be. It is not. It is so much safer now than it was when I was a kid. I found this online after 5 minutes of looking at the Department of Justice study from 1994 to 2011. And there's an 80%, and this is government workplace violence, which 90% of it is police stuff. You can see they're dealing with the criminals. There's an 80% reduction since 1990 through 2011 in any kind of violent crimes. This does not count shootings or deaths, but it does include deaths in there. And actually, deaths are way less than the private sector, even though the opposite is true of just regular crime. There's more crime in government buildings than private sector, but not for people getting shot.
Sure.
Workplace violence.
And I think you're kind of preaching to the choir. A number of us agree with you,
Right.
but it was not our decision. We were mandated to do a lot of the security stuff by the second floor courthouse. We got a
Okay, but-
letter from the judges saying you will do it, so.
Okay, no, I
as much as
understand the
we agree
courthouse
with you,
stuff.
yep.
But basically, you shut off the entire, you turned one building into 3 is what you did.
Yeah.
There had to have been a better way to do that.
And we
Because it's-
explored every option we could think of, and this was what we were told you will do.
Because it's
So-
honestly, it's an incredible inconvenience to us that are, law-abiding citizens that aren't in here.
I hear ya.
So I'm gonna leave this with you so
Okay.
you guys can look at it. 'Cause like I
Appreciate
say,
that.
It's, a lot of this stuff didn't need to be done.
Thank you.
And, if they can figure out a way to make it a little more convenient to use this building again, I understand it's, a 3-part building, but it's still, it kills a bunch of time when you're going all the way around the building all the time. You end up walking 4 blocks to go something that's 300 feet away,
I agree with you.
Okay, that's
Anybody
all I
else
have.
have comments?
I was just annoyed big time Friday because I had to do it twice in a row.
I
And
think
he was
one of
there,
the-
so he saw it.
I think one of the concerns, Dan, was, from what I recall, is that they were concerned with if there was an incident, that there wouldn't be an access point for people to
Right.
leave that area. I think that was one of the concerns too, that they locked those
Okay.
doors. but-
And I understand all this reasoning, but I was just, if there's ever, anybody can figure out a better way to do this. 'Cause like I say, if you use one part of the courthouse, it's fine, but when you start using two parts, it's just nuts.
I agree,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks. You guys have a good day.
Well, thank you, appreciate the
Yep.
time.
No problem.
All right, next on the agenda, Mike Scott, landfill manager. Let's review the WSP contracts and approve those first.
What's that, you wanna do that first?
Yep, that's what's on here, so is
Okay,
that okay?
that's fine.
Or do you have a
WSP, you're
preference?
first.
You can sure switch it around if
It
you want.
doesn't matter. Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Morning.
Now I messed up your whole system, I apologize.
I've got some things to be signed, so I'll bring those up first.
How did sledding go? I have to know. Are people
Yep.
calling now?
They are not, so.
Okay, so it's just the one event.
Just the one event. These will have to be signed, these are contracts here. Tim and Mitch, I'll have you guys go ahead and start, introduce yourselves.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Tim Kenyon. I've been working for Brown County now for, I don't know how long. I have a couple decades doing this stuff. This is Mitch Canterberg, the office manager. I retired to part-time a couple years ago, so I'm the old guy who remembers everything. So I'm the technical resource to the project, and Mitch is the administrative resource to the project.
And the young guy.
And the young guy, relatively speaking. So these two contracts cover the annual groundwater monitoring, and then once every 5 years, we have to do a thing called a Tier 2 study, which measures gaseous emissions through the cap of the landfill. And that's required by state and federal rules every 5 years. It requires we go out and poke about 50 holes in the cap of the landfill and measure the gases underneath. Then you do some arithmetic and come up with a number. And it's, again, it's required by state and federal law every 5 years. So that's a little bit different this year. The groundwater monitoring is a routine thing required by the state. And this covers monitoring to be performed in 2019, and the report of the 2018. So it's actually all the services that occur in calendar year 2019. Right now, the status at the landfill is kind of steady state. There's not a whole lot, well, actually nothing to be concerned about relative to the status of the groundwater. So that's is about as good as news as we can pass along. That's a good thing, absolutely.
So what you're saying is the $59,009 is the annual, and every 5 years we pay the $30,500 for the poke in the holes
Right.
and the arithmetic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's correct.
Piker, you're pretty good at math, aren't you?
Yeah.
I used for what, the 30 grand?
Right.
Ouch.
No, I understand where you're coming from. We have to have it done, so is there any questions for anybody on that?
Guess I recommend that we approve their contracts.
Did I not turn that in?
Get started.
Is that about what we paid 5 years ago, or is it?
It's down a little bit.
It's actually
a little
less. Down, okay.
We got some better laboratory prices primarily.
So when can we start selling gas off the top to fire the ethanol plant out at the west side of town?
Probably don't want to
We
hear
gotta
this.
collect it and move
We
it.
probably
Probably never.
We looked at this.
I just saw that, I saw last night on the news where, is it Minnehaha County that's doing it? I think?
Oh, yeah, they sell their
Yeah.
gas to
To the ethanol plant.
down in
Yeah.
Chancellor.
The volume of waste they have is about 10 times what's out here. There's just, unfortunately, there's not enough garbage. One of those, that's the one time when you need more garbage.
Can't we heat the shop with it or something?
That all depends on- Well, if you've got the money for the infrastructure.
Electricity here is so cheap, relatively speaking, that it is very difficult to make it pay. It's very difficult. A lot of the places where you hear it does pay, they're paying 20, 30 cents a kilowatt hour for electricity, and here it's 6, 7, 8, 9. It's just very difficult to
Geez,
do.
I don't think it's cheap on $500 electricity.
How long, how far and how do they have to pipe that?
Oh, it's 10 miles.
Yeah, about 10 miles.
Awesome.
Did you see that on the news too last night?
No, I didn't, but I'd
Yeah.
heard about it in the past. that they were
Yeah.
doing that.
Well, this is just to reiterate that our landfill is well-sited, well-designed, well-maintained.
And well operated.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's one of the flagship places in the state.
Did I have a motion on that?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Fikert, seconded by Weiss. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
We got the easy button?
Yeah, seal it up, poke holes in it, measure it.
Send this paper, we can get it.
Will do.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Signing it and...
Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Thanks for
the work. Yeah, thank you.
You bet.
Have a good day, safe travels.
Okay, then you had, and you can feel free to move around, but next was approve air quality compliance report.
Yeah, that's just a formality.
Okay.
I just
So
need
moved.
a signature and send it into the state.
Sounds good. Moved by Fikert,
Second.
second by Weiss. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And then the compactor.
Yes, I guess that's kind of the big item on the agenda.
Didn't we just do this?
2012,
See?
so yeah. I think
6 years?
It's been a few years, but, so Toby's here with, Transource.
Hello.
Morning, Toby.
Good morning. We're looking at purchasing off the Sourcewell bid again, or through that cooperative purchasing, I don't know if you want to call it a company, but I don't know if you've got any questions on that type of purchase. We've done it already with the payloader. I think Dirk's done it. Multiple cities and municipalities are doing it right now, so it's pretty well, I don't know what you want to look at, a line item of materials that you want to add to your piece of equipment and buy them.
So BOMEG has a pre-negotiated price list or discount, which I don't know how much of that stuff he has printed out for you, but I can send you kind of a copy of this around as well. It's just a spec list. You go through, you select your options that you want, and then you apply the 28.5% price discount, which is negotiated by Sourcewell. And that gives us our machine price, and then from there, we go in and we add our GPS technology system that we're setting up through Carlson, which is serviced by RDO Integrated Controls, and then our warranties and stuff like that, and it's all pre-negotiated pricing, so it's as good as we're going to do.
So the machine is not built. This will signal to have the machine built? Or?
Well, actually, there is one.
I got a text message this morning saying there actually is one machine built. It's just pending first signature, basically. So, and I got that text message this morning. Other than that, we'd probably be looking at 90 days to be very, very safe delivery time. So,
And right now, our equipment's got around that 10,000 hour, 10.5 mark on
I
it,
was
so
going to ask that question too.
it's due for replacement.
So do we sell that one outright or
We will
trade
be
it?
selling that on surplus, or we'll advertise it online. We'll get best price out of it, or Toby will help sell it, but it'll be we'll declare it surplus and sell it that way instead of a trade.
between Mike and I's contacts in the landfills around the state and North Dakota and stuff, we'll find a good home for it. There's smaller landfills that can use a machine like that don't have the resources that we do here.
So now you've applied for a grant for...
We have. Yep,
What's
the grant
the amount of that request?
Oh, I don't remember what the amount of it is, if it's 40 or 50%. But that'll be done here in March. So
You'll find out what.
we'll find out what we get in March. It should have been applied for here late last year, but it ended up getting moved forward or moved back, however you want to look at it. But it's in the loop and
But proving this purchase doesn't jeopardize.
nope. So yeah,
Pretty
there
much
is a grant.
guarantee that grant probably, I mean,
There's a good likelihood that the grant will come through. So
I would move the purchase of the BOMEG trash compactor.
Second.
Moved by Fikert, seconded by Weiss. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you folks very much.
Thank you.
We'll, I do have a purchase agreement, if we
Yep.
would want to sign that. I will get that turned into BOMEG right away, and that'll secure us, and I'll get Mike delivery time right away. We're all on the kind of the same page, as sooner the better, so
Yep, sooner the better.
if we can get that moving, we'll...
Just some information on the grant program.
After you sign it.
Since 1993, we've received just under $2 million in grants. So it's pretty good through, let's see, about $8 million in projects. That's tire removal, equipment, shops, cell construction, so...
We paid a little into that.
So we paid some in too, but I think we've got more back than what we paid in, so we're doing well that way.
I'll make,
Cool, well, thank you.
All right, that's all I got.
Appreciate it. All right, that brings us up to our next item, which is Sue Gates, Dakota Prairie Museum Director, to give us the 2018 annual report. Sue, are you with us?
I am.
Good morning, how are you?
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, Dennis.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Good to see ya.
That wasn't bad.
That wasn't bad.
How was Grandparents' Day?
Hey, we had a good crowd and everyone
Yeah?
had a good time.
Good deal.
I think we'll do it for a weekend next time.
You
You know, as long as we're doing
People kept
it.
coming, huh?
Yeah. Well, gee, two familiar old faces. Back again. This is like deja vu. Well, yeah, well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Guess you're not going anywhere soon either then, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah, this takes me back about 10 years.
20.
Or 20, yeah. All right. Well, I gotta tell you, your museum had a great 2018. And I would hope that you would read this sometime for your own edification, but I'll just point out some highlights. One thing that we have been doing, as everybody in the county, is transferring over to LED lighting. And we did have our electrician come in and give us kind of an estimate of what our needs are and what could easily be done in the gallery spaces. And luckily, with the exception of 2 galleries that have very old tracks in that will need to be replaced, everything else can be done by switching out bulbs. So we have started that process, and then the 2 galleries that are in need of new track lighting will have to wait till the exhibit changes, because they're over components that we just can't get to them till we do that. So that's been started, and then the office areas and the storage areas, etc. Judy will kind of take a hold of that. But I said we'll do our own gallery areas. Thank you. Out at the granary, we had a great year. We did buy a couple of things. We've been adding to our inventory out there of things that make it easier to host events out there. We bought 2 party tents to add to our inventory of tents, and we added some bistro tables and chairs, and we bought a TV that is mounted in the Putney Hall so that it can be part of an exhibit, so that videos can be rolling on that, or if somebody wants to have a meeting out there and plug in their computer and have a bigger screen, we can do that. Of course, the big thing for us last year was the Tiny Titans dinosaur exhibit, which was here for 6 months. It was huge, and I think everybody that came to enjoy it really did enjoy it, and I have to thank you for helping me support that, because it was a very expensive proposition between you and the foundation and some private donations. We were able to bring that in. We're already looking at what to bring in, not this next year, but the following year, because we do that every other year just because of costs. We can't quite do that every year. Our Junior Docent program celebrated 25 years. If some of you, I think you guys will remember this, but when it started, it was one of those early Partners in Education programs, and I think we're the only one that's still in existence as you never even hear about those partnerships in education anymore, but we're still going strong. We celebrated 25 years, and honestly, it's kind of scary to see
the children of the children come through the program now, so. It's like, oh yeah, this was my mom's room. I want to do this because this is my mom's room. Okay, whatever.
Good stuff.
But over those 25 years, those kids have donated over 17,000 hours of volunteer time to us, which is pretty incredible. You know, our visitation remains really strong. We had 21 countries and 4 Canadian provinces, 45 states, and it's always the same old ones that we never get, you know, the Connecticut's, New Hampshire's, Vermont, and but this year I kept track of South Dakota, North Dakota, and Minnesota specifically, and we had 102 communities from South Dakota, 45 communities from North Dakota, and 72 from Minnesota that visited us. And so visitation was really strong again, and if you look at page 12, I've included a 4-year accounting of all of the programs that we do, all of the visitation, and you can see if you look at the right-hand side here, the school visitations, that first line, we were in 400 classrooms during the last school year. And that is throughout the county. You know, we're going to Groton, we're going to Warren, we're going to Northwestern, even though that's not exactly Brown County, it's got Brown County kids in it. We're in Frederick. So we are, you know, the education people are truly busy. But yet, if you look at the other side, where the students are coming to us, we only had 9 local schools that came for a tour. And that is just the trend, that it's easier for us to pack up our marbles and go to a classroom rather than to get the bus, to get the scheduling, to get, you know, it takes a teacher 3 hours to come and visit us. By the time you get here, do the program, get back to school, get organized, where we can be in and out in 45 minutes to an hour. So it's just more efficient for everybody for us to go.
It's cheaper for the schools, too.
And it is,
Exactly.
yeah. It's cheaper for the schools, and that's everybody's bottom line these days.
Especially
Then you
snow
gotta-
days and late
Oh, I know it,
starts
yeah,
and all
and-
the rest of that.
Load
Yep.
up the bus and transport everybody.
Oh, and then they all got to go to the bathroom, you know, and that takes a good half an hour. So it's just easier for us to go to them, and it's, you know, the teachers are really enjoying it. We just had 2 calls yesterday from new teachers who haven't used us on a monthly basis. We maybe go once, and now they want to join the core that we're there every month with a program that's tied into their curriculum. So I don't know how we can do much more than we're doing, but we'll go until we can't go
Well, it's
anymore.
nice too, because you can focus on a specific subject or theme.
We
and
can.
just, you know, be prepared for it,
yeah.
and really kind of get them into it, get in.
And I would say that because of these classroom visits, we've had more visitation from kids who on the weekends bring either mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, and
From Minnesota or wherever.
yeah,
Mhm.
and because, you know, we encourage them to come visit us, and so they do, and they look around and they know. It's interesting to listen to what they know just from classroom visits, because they'll be telling whoever they're with, well, did you know why we have all of these railroad tracks? Did you know why we're the hub city? Did you know why this and that? So it's working.
Good.
So our visitation is strong, and of course that's what we live by, is numbers of people using us. Exhibits department was incredibly busy. We like to have a big turnover of things to look at and do, so that you can visit us multiple times and always have something new to see and do. Like I said, the big one was the dinosaurs. That was there for 6 months, and it was an incredibly well constructed exhibit that came out of Colorado, and had a combination of real dinosaur fossils and recreated dinosaur fossils. Lots of things that were geared also for adults. I mean, it was kind of like when you go to some of these animated movies that are supposedly for children, there's a little bit a higher level once in a while of something going on that the adults are going, ah. So that's kind of the same thing with this exhibit. And, you know, like I said, we partner with a lot of agencies in the community whenever they want programming or an exhibit to go with something they're doing. And that can be anywhere from an evening, you know, we're constructing exhibits for an evening, or maybe it's several weeks. We are partnering with CBB to cover the display case at the airport, which is great because it's up for 2-3 months at a time. But some of these are, we put together an exhibit for, you know, the Ron Colley Ball, which is a one-night shot or something. So there's a lot, same amount of time and effort go into it, just the longevity of it is not quite so much. We're still adding to our Past Perfect software, inventory software for the collections, and we've got over 33,000 items of our collection have been entered into that. And now we're into the archival part of our collection, which means every one of these pieces of paper that is an artifact gets photographed and, you know, put into that. So we've got one room that's nothing but paper, so that's slowing us down a little bit rather than a room full of objects. But we did get a $2,500 grant from 3M to transfer our oral history tapes, which were done in the 70s and of course are on a cassette, and they are now digitized onto a CD. So we can use those online in an exhibit, or, you know, let people listen to them. I was always fearful of letting people listen to these cassettes because they are so old and fragile that there might only be one listening left. So we wanted to get those transferred over so we didn't lose that information. And of course we added some new items to the collection. We're always adding new things, but they're a little bit more modern things. Like I said, we had a great season at the granary. Probably the biggest attraction was adding the trolley to get people to and from events out there, and that was a huge hit. And then, of course, on the last page is the financials, and I did turn back once again money, but that was mostly because we switched insurance in the middle of the year. So I had budgeted a much higher amount for insurance premiums to be paid, and we didn't use all that. And then I had some of my part-time staff, too, that didn't, you know, one was on maternity leave all summer, so she didn't collect her wages for that period of time. But I think overall, we've done a great job with what you've given us to work with this year, and I hopefully will continue moving forward. This is our 50th year. 1969, they opened in the, what is the senior center for 1 year, and then we moved over here the next year in 70. So we kind of celebrate 50 years in the building, but the actual museum is 50 years old in 2019. So we're looking at how we can celebrate that over maybe a 2-year period. But when you think of what they started with, which was pretty much nothing, I think they wouldn't know what to do with the resources that we have to work with today. So if you have any questions or comments, I'm
amazed that the utilities in that big building are $5,000. I figured it'd probably be...
You know, I was really fearful when we took all of that tin out of the windows years ago, and we put up, we opened all of those windows, but they are that insulated double pane glass, and that has...
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I was wondering if we would go sky high with that, but they have been incredibly efficient.
They are much better than what we have.
Yeah, we used to not even be able to see out on a day like this because the windows were covered with frost, but not anymore. And all of the furnaces, as they have needed replacing, have been replaced with the high energy.
Sure.
So we do run a pretty tight ship over there as far as, and it's not like we're running with 65 degrees over there today. You know, it's a 70 degree. We have to keep it fairly level because, you know, it's not good for artifacts to be hot, then cold, then hot and cold. So we just run it continually at a modest temperature.
How is the foundation doing?
Really well. They are doing really well. You know, they had geared up to to launch a project to make more space for us, but then the timing of it just wasn't right, so they have kind of backed off from that, but they've been
able to help.
They have been able to help, and in fact, tomorrow we're going shopping for a 15-passenger van that we will use to transport kids and anybody back and forth to the granary, but they have finances that they really should be pooling back, and when you give me money for your membership, you like to see that we're doing something with it. So this is kind of what the staff thought the next thing would be. So
We have some kind of blanket liability for that, right? Transporting those kids.
I would assume so, yeah.
Do we have some blanket liability? I don't want to assume we do.
Well, that would be the foundation.
Well, no, we're gifting it to Brown County. I mean, Chris and Dwayne talked about this, about, we would gift this van to the county, and then it would just be county property.
Before any kids get in it, let's make sure we got that covered. That could be, yeah. And congratulations on Hometown Hero again.
Oh, well,
Awesome.
thank
The
you.
Chamber recognized you.
Well, they didn't recognize me. They recognized the whole outfit over there. So I would just happen to be the one picking up the hardware. But thank you. That was a nice award that, almost didn't go to the luncheon. But
It's pretty tricky about trying to get people there.
yeah. No, I've been to every one of these. I don't need to go again. But
All right. Any other questions for Sue? Great presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and I do hope you'll take time and really look through that and see what we've been doing, because we try to make you guys look good and stay under the radar of trouble, and
We need all the help we can get. Thank you.
yeah. All right,
Have a great day.
you too.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to the end of the regular agenda. Max, did anything come up?
Yeah, I have one more. Dirk called, and he needs the milling contract. We would buy off our own bid. We bid it last year, and so we can extend that bid a year if you approve buying off our bid.
So moved.
Moved by Fikert,
Second.
second by Weiss. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. That's all I have. Carries.
We just got another letter as the meeting started that it looks like we're losing 2 more dispatchers, so we need another amendment to the amendment and for the HR report, and we'll get that moving forward, and a request to fill both of those positions.
Because they don't want to move to the new building. All right, I'd entertain a motion to amend the HR report.
So what is the problem? I mean, why are they leaving?
I haven't heard yet because they just walked it in, but
We'll have to.
I'll find out and let you know.
Move.
Moved by Weiss,
Second.
seconded by Fikert. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. So do we need another whole motion on the HR, or is that amendment good enough to? Okay. Gotcha. What else, Gary?
I just need an exec for personnel, but I think Kathy wanted to give you an update.
Yeah, I just wanted to publicly talk about House Bill 1170.
Sure.
Hey, as county auditor-elect, I'm opposed to House Bill 1178. That is the bill that will reduce absentee voting from 46 days to that first Friday in October. Now, I think that's like 32. It sounds reasonable, but when you look at the whole picture of elections, it's going to stress Brown County to the point that we're going to have to hire absentee voting out. And I like to run these elections as fiscally responsible as possible. Right now, the 4 staff in there do everything. And there's 2 main reasons why it will push us to have to hire possibly 4 temporary full-time staff to conduct it. The first is the reduction of the time frame. If we have 6,000 people walking here to vote for the next president, that's 6,000 people in a month coming to that counter. The regular full-time duties don't stop, and they will not be able to get done with the reduced time frame. The additional thing is the nursing homes. We are required by law to go to all the nursing homes in the county that want us there, and what we do is conduct in-person absentee voting. And that takes about 6 working days to conduct, with 2 of the 4 staff going together to assist with the voting there. And that will be something too that will take away 2 more staff for a week's time and will be required to be hired out. So I don't want to see us have to spend any more money on elections than absolutely necessary. And I also don't think this is in the best interest of the voters. One thing I'd like to see is consistency with the elections and eliminate voter confusion. And I don't think House Bill 1178 provides consistency for elections and provides consistency for election administration. From what I understand is it's now split into 2 absentee voting periods, one for the UOCAVA, your uniformed citizens and overseas voters. They get the full 46, while the rest of the voters are reduced to the first Friday in October. So now you have 2 absentee voting time frames, and that's just confusing. I would hate to have someone come to the counter during the UOCAVA only time frame and we're like, sorry, come back next week. To me, that's not good service, that's not good election administration. And I also hear some of the proponents talk about voter remorse. Now, 1178 doesn't eliminate voter remorse. You can have voter remorse on election day. I think everyone in this room has probably sometime in their life had a little voter remorse in one way or another. It also doesn't force an individual to watch a debate or read a pamphlet. All this does is reduce the time frame you're available to vote. An undecided voter doesn't have to come absentee vote as well, so if they want to wait to come to the polls, that is absolutely their choice. But the one thing about Brown County that's unique is in 2016, we had a 37% absentee voter turnout. Before the first Friday in October, we'll walk in over 500 people. So that's 500 people now who are not going to be able to vote during that eliminated time frame. And I haven't looked at the statistics, but I bet we're one of the highest absentee voting counties in the state with 37%. So for Brown County voters, I want to see the 46-day stay. They like it, they utilize it, and I'd like to keep things consistent and cost-effective.
When you say absentee, is that interchangeable with early?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the way we operate, yes. Technically, no, but we're no excuse
When
absentee
you're saying
voting.
37% absentee, to me absentee is your people that aren't here mailing in, but you're talking early, like people that just come here.
Well, South Dakota technically doesn't have early voting. It's no excuse absentee voting that
Okay.
you can do in person for 46 days at the courthouse.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, and I can't remember exactly, but it's around 97% of our voters are walk-in voters here in Brown County that do the absentee voting. So they like to come here, they come here consistently, and it's nice to vote early, I guess.
And that's why it takes longer to count those when you've got 30% of your ballots in one group.
Yeah, and you want to make sure those 6,000 are counted accurately. And
But I mean, it takes
it
longer.
takes time, yeah.
It takes time.
So the only part-time help we were having was on election day? I thought we had
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit of, okay.
No,
No, Logan was here.
That was it for
That
our
was it.
part-time. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know like Brookings County hires, so I think 4 people, don't
Oh, I
quote
know,
me on it.
everybody does.
Most counties our size are hiring out the 46-day help, and we are not, and I don't think we necessarily need to, but if we see a change in legislation like this, I'll be coming in here budget session asking for
Well,
it.
that'll even make it worse for those other counties then, if they're already hiring.
The lines will just be longer.
Sure.
I guess I don't know how many are walk-in, mail, whatever,
Yeah.
but...
Have the
Yeah.
county officials taken a stand on it?
Oh, yeah.
That was my next
Everybody's
question.
against it?
And Secretary of
Everybody's
State's
against
against
How about the Association of County Commissioners, do you know?
Oh, against it, 100%.
You
Secretary
got
of
the
State,
email?
against it, 100%.
Did you read
2
it
of
all?
our legislators are
Mhm.
promoting it, which is really sad.
I guess I haven't talked to them to find out what the exact reason, and I've just listened to the committee testimony. But it just sounds like voter remorse is sort of a larger reason for it. They think if there's less absentee voting time, then people will be waiting to get the postcard or the pamphlet or whatever and make a better decision, but...
They
So is it-
early vote, so they stop.
So does the Senate committee or?
Okay,
Senate
pass
State
the House,
Affairs is tomorrow, yeah.
36-33 with 1 absent. And 10 a.m. tomorrow is the Senate hearing, the committee hearings in Senate Affairs. And that's why I put Kathy on the travel request, because I'm very much interested, but if this passes, it's going to hit Kathy, not me. So she's willing to go to Pier tomorrow, and hopefully we can get it defeated.
I mean, I want to be clear, like, if it does pass the first Friday in October, isn't unreasonable. You know, the
Doable.
voters won't see a significant change.
Right.
It's just our budget's going to see a significant change. And I don't think we need to spend another $15,000-$20,000 on absentee
So
voting here in
what's
Brown
the
County.
reason our local legislators are supporting?
I don't know. And
only thing I
there's
could
one
think of-
gentleman that's one of the prime sponsors, and it's uniformed. Uwakawa is uniformed voters. He keeps calling it uninformed. He doesn't even understand what Uwakawa stands for, and he's a prime sponsor.
And the UOCAV is a federal law, so there's nothing
Federal.
That's why that has to stay at the 46 days. And those ballots get sent mostly by email, and then the overseas voter will mail it back. But sometimes it does take, 3-4 weeks to get mail from some of the remote areas.
Essentially, when we went to this, that's why that time frame was picked, just in order to be uniform with that.
I guess I don't know the whole history, but I know it used to be a shorter time frame, and then the legislature has grown it to the 46, and now they're discussing lowering it back.
Federal law. If this passes, there's a potential for a lawsuit for it because of the HAVA laws.
People.
And you get out on the Indian reservations where, they have satellite stations and nothing's addressing that either.
The only folks that I talked to that were in support of it, their reason wasn't so much remorse, but just current events. In our own situation with the elections last year, when a candidate passes away that close, the further back you go, the more there's a chance of something like that happen. I believe there was at least one, if not more, legislators that also passed away prior to elections, so they had to be appointed. I think was it Spearfish or something?
There was a couple.
So that was some concern that I had heard, but I hear where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
that is valid. I just don't think 1178 necessarily addresses that. It doesn't stop
No.
someone from passing away
Well,
within the...
No, I'm not saying it.
Larry
stops
passed
them from
away
passing
a week
away,
know what
before
I mean.
the election.
The further
Wouldn't
back
have
you
been
go.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, not
No,
have
I-
absentee voting because someone may pass away?
And they talk about some states that don't have absentee voting, but a lot of those states will have a state holiday for voting where everyone's just off work or has access to the polls.
Mhm.
The way South Dakota voter laws are, it needs to be looked at holistically. Those states that have maybe one-day voting or a week absentee voting, they may not be required to go to the nursing homes. They may have counties with unlimited budgets, who knows? But for South Dakota, it just doesn't fit with our current election laws holistically. Like, as an individual voter, it doesn't make a difference to me if it's the first Friday in October, because to me it doesn't matter. But as county auditor-elect and looking at all of our voters in the county and seeing the 500 plus that do come before the first Friday in October, I want to be able to advocate for them and make sure that their needs are met. A lot of the voters that do come early need special assistance. They may have like a seeing eye dog, or they may need someone to help them fill out the ballot, or they may need like a language interpreter, something like that. And with our 46 days, we have quiet space. The traffic's not very high. They can actually come in this little room here and have a private area to get their ballot cast without distraction and chaos that volume brings.
Okay. Any other questions for Kathy? We'll appreciate you taking the time to go down there and represent the county on that.
You did a good job of the committee hearing, at the committee hearing right here.
Oh, that's it. We'll see. It'll be my first one, so.
All right, that's the end of the regular agenda. Anyone else here to speak? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion. We're going for personnel. Do we have any legal to throw into that? Are we good with personnel? What are you thinking?
Might as well throw legal in just so I can update you.
Okay. Entertain a motion for exec for legal and personnel.
Move.
Moved by Weiss,
Second.
seconded by Pfeiffer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Back in session, I don't believe we have any action as a result of exec, did we?
Nope.
Okay. Was there anything else that came up while we were in that? Any questions or comments from the commissioners or those folks in attendance? All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Weiss, second by Pfeiffer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We're adjourned until next week. Thanks.